The sun was sagging low over the red Arizona cliffs when Cole Harmon heard the unmistakable rumble of approaching horses. He straightened up from repairing a fence post, wiped the sweat from his brow, and squinted down the dusty trail that rarely saw anything living and intentional. Cole didn't get visitors. Not neighbors, not travelers, not even the mail rider unless the man got lost. So when four silhouettes approached, moving in steady formation, Cole felt a flicker of unease crawl up his ribs. As they drew closer, he recognized the patterns on their clothing, Apache beadwork, intricate and bright even under the fading light. Four women, sisters by the way they rode together with easy familiarity. The leader, tall and calm-eyed, dismounted first. The other three followed. They stood lined up like they'd practiced it, each one looking at Cole like he was a curiosity. They hadn't decided the nature of yet. Before Cole could even manage a greeting, the boldest of the sisters stepped forward. She was short, fierce, and wore confidence like a weapon strapped to her back. Without hesitation, she pointed at him and declared, "We came to have sex with you." Cole's world froze. He made a sound that wasn't a word and wasn't dignified. His jaw dropped so low he felt a bug fly in. His hat nearly slid off. For a second he wondered if he'd passed out in the heat and was hallucinating. Something wholly inappropriate. The tallest sister groaned, grabbed the bold one by the braid and hissed, "Kai!" That is not what the word means in English. Kai shrugged, like it absolutely was what she meant. Another sister, the calm, composed one, stepped forward and tried to clarify. She meant the SEKs. In our language, it means protection. We are here to give you protection. Cole blinked rapidly. Protection? From what? The smallest sister lit up with mischief. Bandits. 15 men. Maybe more. They're coming this way. They think your ranch is empty and defenseless. Cole swallowed so hard the sound echoed in his own ears. And you four want to help me fight them? Kai leaned on her hip. Well, yeah, but my version got you listening faster. The others elbowed her. Cole, still red enough to match the cliff behind him, nodded slowly. Then welcome, I guess. The sisters exchanged grins, each one carrying a different kind of trouble. Cole had no idea what he'd just agreed to, but it was already too late to back out. Morning came fast on the Harmon ranch, and Cole woke to the sound of unfamiliar voices arguing somewhere near his barn. For a dizzy moment, he forgot he had 4 Apache sisters camped on his property, and he nearly rolled out of bed at the memory. He threw on his boots and hurried outside, only to find the sisters already working like they owned the place. Tala, the eldest, was marking the ground with a stick, mapping out where bandits might approach. Zuni was repairing his fence with effortless precision, moving like she'd lived on this land her whole life. Nita was perched on top of the water trough, eating an apple she'd definitely taken without asking. And Kai was leaning against the porch post, arms crossed, staring at Cole like she was waiting for him to do something embarrassing, which unfortunately he did by tripping down the last step. Kai smirked. You always wake up this graceful? Cole muttered something about loose boards, but she wasn't fooled. Tala waved him over, all business. She showed him the rough map drawn in the dust, explaining where the bandits were likely to come from, how the land sloped, which spots offered cover. Cole nodded like he understood, even though half of it washed over him like river water. He wasn't a fighter. He wasn't even good at pretending. But he listened because Tala spoke, with the kind of quiet authority that made him want to try. Meanwhile, the other 3 sisters kept interrupting the seriousness. Nita dropped her apple core exactly where Tala was drawing. Suni lightly shoved her away without looking up from the fence she was tightening. Kai added commentary that made Cole's ears burn. At one point she said, perfectly casual, "You sure you're ready for 4 women protecting your place? You barely handle 1 sentence from me." Cole sputtered at that, which only encouraged her. Despite the teasing and chaos, the ranch actually started to look fortified. Suni had repaired 2 gates. Nita had strung up a tripwire that Cole nearly walked into twice. And Tala had laid out a plan that made sense even to someone as unbattle-tested as Cole. Every now and then, the sisters slipped into soft conversations in their own language, glancing at him like they were assessing not just the land, but the man who lived on it. And through all of this, there was the quiet, nagging awareness that danger was getting closer. Scouts had seen dust trails by the ridge, signs the bandits were less than a day away. Cole felt the weight of that knowledge settle in his chest, but he wasn't alone anymore. For the first time in years, there were other footsteps on his land, other voices filling the air, other hands working alongside his, even with the misunderstandings and the pranks and Kai's relentless teasing. The ranch didn't feel lonely at all. He just hoped surviving the next 24 hours wouldn't require him to be half as brave as the sisters thought he could be. Night fell with a strange, vibrating stillness, the kind that warned every creature in the desert that something dangerous was moving through the dark. Cole stood near the corral with his shotgun resting against his leg, trying to slow his breathing. The sisters moved around him with silent coordination, checking their traps, scouting the ridge, whispering brief updates to one another in a mix of English and their own language. Kai doused the lanterns, leaving only moonlight and the faint silver outlines of the ranch buildings. Tala crouched beside Cole and told him to remember the signal. 1 whistle meant stay hidden, 2 meant run, 3 meant shoot only if he absolutely had to. Cole nodded, though he couldn't tell if he was agreeing or praying. The bandits arrived just after dusk, shadows spilling across the land like spilled ink. Cole saw them first as shifting silhouettes on the ridge, then as clearer shapes when they descended. Men with rifles, men with lanterns, men who walked with the confidence of people who thought they were hunting easy prey. What they found instead was Tala's first trap, a snare of ropes tightened by Nita's carefully placed pulleys. The lead rider went flipping off his horse with a yell that echoed across the ranch. Before the others could react, Suni released a second trap that sent a loud crack through the air, a noisemaker of dry branches and metal scraps that disoriented the intruders. Chaos exploded. Cole fired a warning shot straight into the sky, which startled exactly no one except himself. The sisters moved like they were made of wind and instinct. Tala struck from behind the water tower, disarming one man before he even realized she was there. Nita darted across the paddock, daunting 2 bandits into chasing her straight into a patch of caltrops. Kai fought openly and with gleeful intimidation, swinging the butt of a rifle like a club, shouting things that made even Cole want to surrender. By midnight, the surviving bandits were scrambling onto their horses, shouting about demons and warrior spirits and vowing never to come near. Harmon Ranch again. When the last hoofbeats faded into the desert, silence finally settled. Gentler this time, almost warm. Cole leaned against the fence, shaking but alive. The sisters returned to him one by one, dust-covered and triumphant. Tala gave a small nod, the closest she ever came to bragging. Suni checked him for injuries he didn't have. Nita flopped onto a hay bale, as if she'd just finished a pleasant evening stroll. Kai stepped in close, smirking, and said, "Not bad, rancher. You only almost died 4 times." Cole managed a laugh, weak but real. For the first time in years, the ranch didn't feel like an island. It felt protected, alive, shared. And as the fire crackled and the sisters settled around it, Cole realized that whatever came after this night, he wasn't going to face it alone.